Welcome, it's Dr. Gina Zumo, and I'm very excited that you're here. People come to chiropractors for a variety of reasons. Some start chiropractic care because they think chiropractic can help with an ache, pain, or a problem that they have. Others because they think chiropractic care will help them prevent a disease or disorder. And some feel that chiropractic will help them be all they can be. Regardless of the reason, you have begun to care. My mission here is to give you a sense of the big picture of chiropractic and allow you to choose how to best use our services. Who wants to be healthier tomorrow than they are today? You all want to be healthier. You know what it is, but there's no way to tell if you are. Let's look at this logically. Remember number lines when you were in school? I'm going to create a number line, really a function line. At one end of the number line, we have a point that represents 0% function, nothing working at all in your body. Another word for that? Death. Exactly right. 0% function is death. The other end of the number line, I am going to say represents 100% perfect function, optimal physical, mental, and social well-being. Optimal well-being on every level. The totality of health. It's safe to say we live somewhere in this spectrum between 0 and 100%. Isn't that true? Now there's an area of less function, reduced function, lack of function that we call sickness, symptoms, and disease. Isn't that true? Someone with cancer is more towards the 0% end than they are the health end. Someone with diabetes is more towards the 0% end than they are the 100% end. Someone with back pain is more towards the 0% end than the perfect health end. Isn't that true? This is what most people want. They live their lives, they do their thing, feeling great, whatever they do, wherever they go, they are somewhere on this function line. One day they cross that line and they have an ache, pain, symptom, or problem, or something happens and they realize something is going wrong. How do you know what gets your body to better function? What controls that function inside of your body? We have amazing bodies. One of the most miraculous things the body does is being able to heal itself. I cut myself. What happens? I start bleeding. What do I do then? I wash it off. I put a Band-Aid or some iodine on it. Do the iodine and the Band-Aid heal me? No. Life is what heals. If you question that, then take a slice of meat or go to a corpse and cut them. Put all the iodine and the Band-Aid you want on there, and they still won't heal. Life is the only healer there is. Life inside you and me is a magical force that allows our bodies to work. It's the magical force that allows our bodies to function. To function, the most miraculous process that I can ever describe, though, is the whole new human being comes into being. Two half cells come together, an egg and a sperm, and make a whole cell. That one whole cell is a germ for creating a whole new human life. Isn't that amazing? In a matter of 9 months, one cell becomes trillions of cells, highly specialized. The cells know what to do and how to do it. Nature doesn't need any help to do its job as long as there is no interference. So let's talk about the brain and the nerve system. The brain controls all the functions of the body. It's up here inside your skull, and it connects the rest of your body through the spinal cord. It comes down inside the spinal column and branches just like branches of a tree. When something happens in our body, the brain sends signals down the spinal cord and over the nerves to the parts of the body telling it what to do. Those parts of the body also send signals back up to the nerves, to the brain, so the brain knows what is going on. That back and forth communication is how everything works in our bodies. Do you know how many nerves you have inside your body? Well, you've heard people say, you've got some nerve. I can't tell you how many nerves you have inside your body, but I do know that you have so many nerves in your body that if we took away all other cells in the body, all the other parts of your body, took them away and left only nerve cells, I could recognize you. You would make a fingerprint or a handprint unique to you. The nerves are so extensive because that is what connects to all parts of your body. Your brain uses the nerves to talk to all the cells, organs, and systems of the body and coordinate it, just like a conductor directing an orchestra. It knows what to do and how to do it. Your nerves do everything inside of you. The brain and spinal cord and the nerves have the consistency of wet spaghetti or jello, so it can become easily damaged. So what nature does to protect it is provide them bone. The bones of the spine protect the delicate nerves. Pound for pound, the bones are harder than cast iron and steel. They make a very efficient protection for the delicate nerves. Not only do the bones surround the nerves to protect them, nature bathes the nerves in a spinal fluid. What a chiropractor's job is to make sure the brain, the spinal cord, can best communicate to the body by making sure that the bones don't get in any way or damage the nerves. There is something that can happen called a subluxation. A vertebral subluxation is when the bones have misaligned, putting pressure onto the nerves. These are 4 bones of the lower back. Those are the bumps that you feel along your lower back. See how the bones have been pushed out of place? See what happened to the disc, to the cushion pad that is between them. Sometimes science will call that a slip disc, herniated disc, ruptured disc, but in reality the disc is not the problem. The problem is the vertebra has moved out of place, putting pressure on the nerves. The nerve connects with the brain. Putting pressure on that nerve interferes with the information coming through. It alters the information both from the brain to the body and the body to the brain. Let's look at the word subluxation for a moment. Sub means less, reduced, or under. Ation means a condition. And lux is the Latin word for light or for energy. So it's a condition of less energy. When a subluxation occurs, there's less energy coming into the body and back up to the brain. Less information going back and forth. With the subluxation, there is a reduction of the function of the body. Let's say this nerve is a nerve that's going to your liver, telling your liver what to do and how to do it. Some toxin comes into your body, a toxin like alcohol, where your liver needs to detoxify the chemical you put into your body. But in order to do that, it needs 80% liver function. But this is allowing your liver to work only at 50%. Can you see how that would lead to malfunction of the liver, disorders connected to the body not being able to detoxify? Does that make sense to you? Let's say this is going to your stomach and it's only working at 80%. All sorts of stomach things can begin to occur because of the lack of function. The body chemistry can get thrown off. When this occurs in the spine, it reduces the function of the body. A subluxation changes the biomechanics of the spine. The biomechanics is a fancy word for alignment and motion of the spine. When a subluxation occurs, the movement in the area is changed so it no longer moves properly. Areas above and below that spot begin to compensate for that, oftentimes moving it in excess due to the restriction in the movement created by the subluxation. As they start moving in excess, it will begin to cause damage to those areas as well. So the subluxation just doesn't stay localized to one spot in the spine, it begins to affect the mechanics of the entire spine. Many of you have started care, and many of you, we've shown you how your neck and your cervical curve has changed from the ideal normal nature designs, the alignment of the bones in the neck and such, that there should be a nice smooth curve that comes forward. That curve is an important structural support. It is the same principle that engineers use to build bridges and dams. Curves allow greater efficiency of geometry. The curves in your neck, your lower back, your mid-back offer strength and efficiency to the spine. When a subluxation occurs, areas around the subluxation compensate and the curves change. Often it reduces. It alters the biomechanics, the movement and alignment, and the curve straightens from where it should be, losing its strength, its efficiency in the body, promoting a need for the body to further adapt. This can create a degenerative process that is often visible on X-ray. Worst of all, it reduces the performance of the body, not just in the pressure upon the communication system, but in the stability of the structure of the body. When a subluxation occurs, a destructive cascade of events follows. The body does not perform well. The brain and the body aren't connected as well. The function of the body is reduced, spinal motion and stability is compromised, the spine begins a degenerative process. It moves you way down the number line, towards the 0%. A subluxation reduces health and wellness, whether or not the body function is reduced to a degree that a symptom occurs. The reduction in function of the body is destroying your expression of experience of life. No matter what, when there's a subluxation, you are walking in the direction towards the 0%. You can take a yoga class, stretching classes, and meditation classes. When there's pressure on your spine, you're still walking into the 0% function. If I took a rubber band and I tied it on your finger really tight, what happens? Blood starts to pool there, doesn't it? It starts to hurt a little bit. I can massage it, and it would feel better. But the minute I stopped, it would come right back again. I can exercise, I would stretch, but the minute I stopped going, the only way for me to have that healthy finger is if I took that rubber band off. The same thing is true with your nerves. When there's pressure on the nerves, it's cutting off that information that's there. You can stretch and meditate and visualize, do whatever you want, but as long as there's pressure on the nerve, you're going to be moving into the 0% function. This is an x-ray of a neck. Trauma occurs and causes the cervical neck to straighten. That puts undue stress on the disc between the vertebrae. The stress causes the disc to work in a manner that they are not designed to, and the disc will begin to degenerate. They become so weak that the body begins to attract calcium salts into the ligaments to offer structural stability and support. As that occurs, it begins to create a fusion of that area. This process is what we refer to as a subluxation degeneration. We've shown this to many of you on the x-rays in terms of your phases of degeneration. When the cervical curve is straightened, there is so much pressure put on to that spinal curve and to the nerve system that the body recognizes that, and it does this in order as an adaptive response. Not that it is preferred, but if this didn't occur, the outcome would be much worse. This is the body's attempt to hang on. There is a really easy way to look at this and say, oh my God, bad bone, I'm gonna die. This is happening because you're not going to die. The body is hanging on and being adaptive. So very thankful that this is occurring, otherwise you might not be here right now. But let's see if we can stop that process, slow down that process, and bring this much reversal to it as possible by correcting these subluxations. Subluxations have a multiple of causes. There can be an emotional causes of subluxation, people under high degrees of stress, bad postures at work. Holding on to that stress and tension in your body can jam vertebrae in their place, make biochemical changes in the body, alter the spinal mechanics, and reduce the functionality of their body, continually damaging them from the inside out. There are chemical causes of subluxations. Being exposed to toxic fumes, polluted air, drugs, alcohol, preservatives, and a multitude of other toxic chemicals can place an overwhelming strain on the nerve system that can subluxate the spine. There could also be physical causes of subluxation. Car accidents, sports injuries, bad postures, bad mattresses, all can be physical traumas to the body. Seeing kids sitting with their Game Boys for hours at a time or in front of the computer monitor, carrying backpacks in improper ways. Probably the worst trauma that we've all been through is the birth process. The birth process, as the child comes through the birth canal, the head is very often taken into traction, where the vertebrae are actually separated 10 to 15%. Medical texts say that it is not uncommon to have a 90 to 120 pounds of pull force pressure utilized. Science has linked the extreme traumas at birth to infant death syndrome, or stillbirths. I want all of your babies to get checked because this is where the pressure begins, like the beginning to dim a light bulb. Add up all the falls, accidents, injuries that occur with kids, like going down the stairs on their bottoms, or a chair gets pulled out from them when they are trying to sit at school and eat their lunch, or on the playground where the swings bash together, or sports injuries. All of these things create subluxations upon subluxations upon subluxations. Put more pressure on their nervous system, and every day our kids take another step in towards that 0% direction. By the time the age of 42, they bend over to pick up something off the floor and their back goes out on them. It didn't happen from the bending over and picking up that something, or placing themselves under so much emotional stress in school that they have to get so many things done, go to all the clubs, go to all the meetings, sporting events, putting undue stresses into the body, and then at one day, at a certain age, their body comes up to them and says, "You lost their job," and they get a heart attack. But their body has been getting this stress from day one put on them because of the functionality has been getting reduced day by day by day. Subluxations is in endemic proportions in our culture and are causing more people to rot from the inside out. I want you to bring in your families. Make sure they are getting checked and are free of nerve interference, whether that be chemical, physical, or emotional causes. The goal of chiropractic is to correct subluxations. Follow our recommendations. They are the same recommendations I would be giving my sister, brother, uncle, dad, or even my kids. It is what I believe in my heart and soul to be the best thing. Don't be afraid to ask questions and be active within your care. If your family is not under care, please reach out to us and let us check them as well too. And lastly, please tell others and let them know what you've learned. You are part of an informed minority, and by telling others, you create the possibility their life to experience is better in their health and overall well-being.